Hey, everybody, welcome to Poduty in the News for Monday, August 18th, 2025. We are live at the Poduty Podcast Theater. I've got 6 great stories for you. Cowherd, Ladies and Tangents, Unsubscribe, FinTech 1000.
Cowards calling LIV Golf, stars in the show. Gesicki with the Bengals where the good vibes flow. FinTech Insider's milestone, 1,000 strong. Ladies and Tangents in Cleveland sing along. Scott and Ryland bring the pop to the floor. Unsubscribe Orlando fans want more. The mics are hot, the stories are true. With Jeff Revilla, it's Poduty and the news.
Oh, man, I love those theme songs. Welcome to Poduty in the News. It is Monday, August 18th. It's the only live news podcast about live news podcasting recorded live at the Poduty Podcast Theater in downtown Tarentum. And we started this show because this is what we're building. We're building a small club area for live podcasting. So if you're in the Pittsburgh area and you want to see what we're all about, head over to poduty.com, Poduty.com. Check out our upcoming events. We have improv classes, we have podcast meetups, and we have live podcasters from around the Pittsburgh area doing their shows live on the stage in front of a live audience and a live stream audience. So Poduty.com, Poduty.com. All right, this first story comes to us from Fox Sports Radio on iHeart.com. It's for the fans. Cowherd goes live. Colin Cowherd and John Middlekauff went live from the LIV Tour event at Bolingbrook Golf Club, where big names like Brooks Koepka, Dustin Johnson, and Bryson DeChambeau teed up for the weekend. Cowherd praised Mickelson's career best shape, spotlighted by Schroeder Sanders' preseason debut, and they debated DeChambeau's shift from villain to fan favorite. They even sat down with LIV CEO Scott O'Neill to talk about LIV's party atmosphere and the pressure of battling the PGA Tour. And this is another example that we give you week after week of people integrating podcasts into their media that they're already producing. So Colin Cowherd has his own show, took it to the tour, and did a live recording of his podcast. Sticking with sports, over in Cincinnati, from Cincinnati.com, the Bengals Beat with a big heart. The Bengals Beat podcast went live from Cincinnati's Free Store Food Bank with special guest Mike Gesicki. The tight end opened up about his journey to the Bengals, the importance of giving back, and how athletes can uplift their communities. Between reflections on service and excitement from the upcoming season, Gesicki showed he's ready to make an impact both on and off the field. And if I could stress this any more on this podcast, this is a great example of an athlete in his town doing some charity work, incorporating into the podcast of the Bengals Beat podcast, and doing a live show from a food bank. Is there any better PR than that? You get to hang out with the Cincinnati Bengal at a food bank, raising awareness for needs in your community. Congratulations to the Bengal Beat podcast. Even though we're from Pittsburgh, we're still going to root you on there. Cincinnati.com for that story. Our third story tonight, the FinTech Insider hits 1,000 episodes, and they're celebrating with a special live event, the FinTech Insider After Dark. On September 24th, fans will gather at Village Underground in London for food, drinks, and live podcasts featuring David M. Breer, Ross Gallagher, and Marcin Glogowski. It's not just another milestone. It's proof this FinTech show is cashing in big with its community. And this example of not just like, hey, we want to do a live podcast at a theater, but this is a celebration. This is a reason to bring your fans together. They're reaching 1,000 episodes. They have fans. They've been around for a while, and they're going to have a meetup. Meet the fans that have been listening to the show, make it all possible, and have an After Dark episode recorded as a special event. And, last week we had a lot of Pennsylvania stories. Ohio's kicking our butt this week. We're going to Cleveland this time. Ladies and Tangents hit Cleveland. This comes to the News Herald. Cousins Ciara Parsons and Jerry Steinmetz The voices behind Ladies and Tangents are taking their Girls Gone Mile tour to Cleveland's Funny Bone on August 20th. Known for their candid conversations on everything from Greek mythology to mental health, the Ohio-based duo has built nearly 1 million strong following by turning taboo topics into relatable laughs. Their live shows feel like family reunions where strangers walk away friends, all thanks to their humor, honesty, and a healthy dose of tangents. And just like the previous story, build up a huge fan base, a nice following, doing live shows, taking the show on the road and performing your podcast in front of a live audience. This is the future of podcasting. This is where we're going down the road. And if you've watched our Pittsburgh podcast meetups, where I talk about the math involved with a live show versus a digital download, I will urge you to go back and watch that. The math makes sense to start thinking about your podcast as a live event. We're going back across the pond again. Scott and Rylan bring Pop Top 10 to Chelmsford. This comes to us from the Gazette News in the UK. Scott Mills and Ryan Clark are taking their hit Pop Top 10 podcast out of the studio and onto the stage with a live recording at Chelmsford Theater on September 2nd, just days before Radio 2 in the park kicks off. Fans can join the fun in person before the episode drops on BBC Sounds, with the weekend festival featuring sets from Bryan Adams, Def Leppard, and more. Mills and Ryland promise plenty of laughs, surprises, and secret guests in this special Essex edition. So if you're in the area and you want to support a local podcast, head over to the Chelmsford Theater on September 2nd. Check out Scott and Ryan bringing the Pop Top 10 to a live stage environment. And speaking of live, our last story tonight, Unsubscribe Podcast goes live in Orlando. This comes to us from ticketnews.com. The Unsubscribe Podcast is hitting the stage at the Hard Rock Live Orlando on October 18th, 2025. Fans can expect a night of laughs, audience interaction, and the off-the-cuff conversations that built the show's following. With great theater seating, Universal City Walk dining just steps away, and tickets on sale now, this live taping promises the full podcast meets night out experience. I don't even know what that means. I let ChatGPT write some of these summaries. But if you're in Orlando on October 18th, the Unsubscribe Podcast is going live at the Hard Rock. So check it out. Another live podcast on a stage near you. And speaking of stages near you, we hope you'll join us for Poduty Live 2025. It's our podcast festival. We bring up 2 days worth of live podcasts. They're going to perform some from the stage, some are virtual, all around the world. We're going to have a great time with live podcasting. And this is a 2-day event. We'll have a party in between, perhaps an open bar or catered with some brewskis. Poduty.com, Poduty.com. Check it out. Register your show. Be a part of live podcasting history. Poduty.com, Poduty.com. I'm Jeff. This has been Poduty in the News for August 18th, 2025.
Cowherd's calling LIV Golf, starting the show. Gesicki with the Bengals, where the good vibes flow. FinTech Insider's milestone, 1,000 strong. Ladies and tangents in Cleveland.